Hey guys, still here. Today, World of Warships, which is rather different from what I'm normally covering. But I've been playing quite a lot of World of Warships, and I've been having fun in Clan Wars. So what you're going to be seeing today is one of the Clan Wars matches that we did just the other day. I'm over here in my gearing, and I have a whole team around me. This is a 7-man gameplay mode, where you're going up against other clans. We're up against the KNM clan. Our team consists of one battleship. You can only have one in Clan Wars. A couple of cruisers, 2 Des Moines, and one what we call borrowed Hindenburg. This is one that you get as a sort of lone ship, if you will. The Bone in his Moskva, myself in the gearing, as mentioned, and Eisenbart in his Shimakaze. Now, I was in command of this match. I was the field commander, as we call this. In this situation, I wanted all my cruisers to go to B. This is the cap circle down south, heading around these islands and making their way into C. This way we have the cover of the islands, making sure we don't get our ships shot in the side, which is where they are most vulnerable. In the meanwhile, Eisenbart in his Shimakaze is going to be running interference at A. Shimakaze, in case you're not familiar with it, has a ton of torpedoes. And the replay system is still quite finicky, which is why I can barely get a look at Eisenbart's Shima here. He's going to be heading to A, neutralizing that zone as long as possible by filling it with torpedoes, and as such denying the enemy team the ability to go there. Now in the meanwhile, I'm heading to A as well, and I'm deploying a smokescreen. I'm deploying this smoke to make sure that the enemy team thinks that we're heading to A with the larger group. You can see these smoke screens from quite far away. So, by deploying a smoke screen here, I wanted to give the illusion that we have a larger force going to A than we actually do. And as such, most of our ships were not yet getting detected. And even if 1 or 2 got detected here, they might still think that we were heading north. Of course, there's no guarantee that this works. But I didn't really have that much else to do, as my plan was to start skirmishing down the middle. Now we have a couple of ships already in the B cap, so we have captured it. Of course, the enemy captures C, which is where they spawn. And that's when we spot the first cruiser, the Henri IV. Interestingly, the Henri is, as far as I'm concerned, completely out of position. Because all the way up there, it puts itself out of the fight. And it's not even rendering for me, that's how far it is away. You can see it on the minimap, it's all the way over here on A4. That's how far that ship is going away. Again, I'm not really sure what he's planning to do there, but I was quite happy with it, because this means that for the next at least 3 minutes, he's not going to be in weapons range of any of our ships. But he might have seen the smoke screen. So he might be thinking, oh crap, we got a larger ship, a larger force coming in this way. And as such, he is retreating off to the sides. Eisenbart has launched his torpedo salvo. He has not spotted anything else. But the fact that there is one cruiser over there makes me quite happy. Because it means we're going to have less cruisers for my cruiser/battleship group down south. Now we do know that the enemy team has 2 Shimakazes, which means that they can put a lot of torpedoes in the water. And dodging all of those is going to be a challenge. Now I managed to spot 2 of the enemy Des Moines cruisers over here. They are operating at or close to sea. So I'm trying to get the hell out of radar range as quickly as possible. I already had the speed boost on cooldown, so I cannot speed up any further. As such, I'm trying to blade away. The Des Moines fortunately is behind the island at this point, and as such can barely shoot me. So I'm ordering the team, go forward, just ignore the Montana over there. The sooner we can clear this gap, the better. If you're not detected, hold fire, but by this point they're all going to be detected because of the radars, and push directly into the Des Moines. Now, the Des Moines class ships, as well as the Hindenburg, all come, or actually the Moskva as well, all come with hydro. So the hydroacoustic search is going to allow them to spot torpedoes early. And with one Shimakaze on the loose over there and the other one squarely at A, we only have to deal with one. But with a cluster of this many ships together, it is very tempting for one of those Shimakazes to go to town and to do quite a bit of damage. Now, with my presence over here in the middle, and my friendly Des Moines pushing up from the south, we have these 2 Des Moines squarely caught between the 2 of us. If they go south, they run into the Des Moines and the battleship. If they go my way, they're going to run into my torpedoes. If they go north, they're going to be ending up in open waters, which is where they have no cover at all. Right now, this big island over here is between my ships and theirs. The Des Moines currently not really a target. The Hindenburg, slightly further off to the 10 line, is. So if somebody cannot shoot at these two Des Moines, they're going to be doing at least some damage to the Hindenburg. In the meanwhile, at A, we have spotted a Shimakaze, who for some reason jumped into A and then ducked back out of it, so he's not actually capturing it as of yet. And on my stern you can see that the Des Moines are now, once again the game will barely let me zoom in. The Des Moines are more or less stuck. They're forced to go in an area where they really don't want to go, which is close to my torpedoes. And by sending torpedoes this way, I've forced them to go on a broadside approach to the rest of the ships. So we have Perry over there, we have Ned and Neghnaton, who are all pushing forward, which means that they're going to be facing the broadsides, or the broadside Des Moines over here. And as such, the Des Moines, these two can take a lot of damage very, very quickly. Now, unfortunately, our Montana, Andre, is still squaring off against the Shimakaze. We're mostly trying to ignore the Shimakaze for now because I want these two cruisers dead. With the cruisers out of action, we can push into sea and get our second cap circle, which neutralizes the advantage that the enemy team has right now. I'm still operating around the middle, trying not to get too close to these Des Moines to get under attack. And if they do come forward, I can still put some torpedo fire in on them. At this point, Ned manages to kill off the first Des Moines. Perry, unfortunately, has taken quite a bit of damage, and Ned in the Hindenburg also takes a large salvo. The Hindenburg is going at 3,000 hit points and is almost going down. At this point, the Des Moines takes a massive salvo from the Des Moines over there and Andre in the Montana. And we score our second cruiser kill, having lost no ships of our own. But that is not a situation that's going to last for very long, as both our Des Moines and our Hindenburg have taken so much damage that they're not going to be around for much longer. At this point, I'm really hoping that both Perry and Ned can keep themselves safe, hold behind cover, and by doing that, just allow them some time to repair. They managed to dodge the torpedoes that were fired by Eisenbart in the Shimakaze. I was hoping Eisenbart could do something about the Montana, so that was his primary task, deal with the Montana. In the meanwhile, we have lost one cruiser. Ned in the Hindenburg is going down. Perry in his Des Moines is still being detected by the Shimakaze, which is still operating somewhere down here. And with Perry in the Des Moines not really being capable of going head-to-head with other cruisers, let alone a battleship, decide to send him off on a chase for that Shimakaze, if only to chase it away from the battleship and Neghnaton and the other Des Moines over here. Now Bone at this point had pushed forward a bit too much, and by doing so he was taking a lot of fire. He was squared off between the Montana, which almost had a broadside on him, and the Hindenburg over there. And of course we have the Henri IV slightly off to my starboard aft, port aft. And I did manage to put a torpedo into him, but he's still coming. He wants to capture B, and he's going to have assistance from that Shimakaze. That's where the Shima went. Or at least, I think that's potentially the other Shimakaze. Just as I was getting close enough to Bone to be useful for him for the smoke, we lose the cruiser. So now we have lost both cruisers. Or actually we have lost two cruisers, and so has the enemy team. The enemy team is about to lose a third. There we go. And now we have once again traded cap circles. Whereas we started with B and they captured C and A, we have now captured C and they control A and B. So we rotated the game pretty much by a quarter. Next up, trying to kill the Montana, trying to resecure the B cap. Unfortunately, Perry is still at low health and is not really capable of dealing with any particular ship alone, well, maybe a destroyer. Unfortunately, he's facing off with the Henri, and the Henri has 39,000 hit points versus the 7,000 hit points of Perry. This is not an equal fight. I'm trying to rush into position to help him out with torpedoes and trying to delay this guy as long as possible. That's when a couple of Shimmer torpedoes come at me from over here. Negnatan, who's using radio position finding, does have a lock on one of the Shimikazes, and you can see that the second Shimikaze that came out of A is now crossing all the way to C and is potentially going to give Perry quite a hard time. Perry is doing as much damage to the Shimikaze here as he possibly can, trying to fight off two ships at once. The Shimikaze not actually using guns, but the Henri is, and the Montana is probably in a position to help him out as well. Eisenbart in the Shimikaze is now trying to keep the Montana away. I want to force this guy away from A, and I also want to force him into a different direction so he does not have the capability of firing adequately. Our own Montana is also being distracted by a Shimikaze. That's the Shimikaze that we have somewhere off to the back of this sector over here. They're not particularly threatening for our cap circles, but they are going to be delivering a lot of firepower and a lot of ducking and weaving maneuvers for the battleships. Now I managed to get another torpedo into the Henri, bringing him down to 23,000 after some other damage that Perry did to him. Perry has unfortunately gone down. The scores are now 672 versus 807, with the enemy team in possession of 2 cap circles and a similar amount of ships to us. We have a battleship that's out of position. Andre has taken quite a few torpedoes and is down to 40,000 hit points, and by the looks of it, still flooding. Negnatan is moving south to help him chase down that Shimikaze, and I'm pretty much left holding the bag, trying to face off against the Henri on my own, which in a gearing I can more or less do. But this is when my positioning got screwed up, and I decided to put this island between me and the Henri, which was the wrong choice. My torpedoes are still on cooldown. The Henri can easily dodge north, and by doing so, avoid any torpedoes. Of course, torpedoes are out of the option right at this point, because the whole island's in the way. Now, we're chasing down 2 Shimikazes. We have the Montana, we have the Des Moines. Their Montana is on the other side. I have no idea how many hit points that thing still has left. But at this point I said, okay Eisenbart, I want you in A. I don't care if you have to sit in smoke to do it, just make sure you neutralize that cap circle. Because once the enemy team reaches 1,000 points, we lose the game. And that was something that I was really, really not looking forward to. It was the last match of the evening. I wanted this thing to work. Henri comes forward and does not quite know where I am right up until this point when he activates his hydro. And this is when he can see me. He takes a salvo, potentially from what I think was the Des Moines, but it could have been Andre in the Montana. Actually, considering the damage, it's probably Andre. I'm pushing forward. Of course, the Henri sees me coming, and at this point of the game, we really need a kill. If you kill a ship, the enemy team loses a couple of points, and we gain some. If the enemy team reaches 1,000 points, we lose. Every few seconds we gain a few points as per the cap circles, but so does the enemy team. That's why I wanted the Shimikaze over there in Eisenbart in A. Now I'm chasing around the Henri, trying to get some damage in on him. Barely getting enough, as the ship's too angled and I was firing AP at his superstructure or his stern there. Barely got any damage done. This is when Negnatan at 999 points was able to kill off the Shimikaze. That bought us some time. Next, the salvo from Andre destroys the Montana, and now we're in a far better position. We have 2 cap circles. The enemy team has 2 ships versus our 4, and while they are still ahead on points, we are looking far better than we were a moment ago. I did take some damage. Propulsion took a hit. It's not really that important. So I decide to head over to B as quickly as possible to try and capture it, neutralizing the enemy team's advantage there as well. And in the meanwhile, we're hoping that either I or Eisenbart, who's taken a lot of damage, will spot the Montana, so that our own Montana is going to have some shots at him. Negnatan pings the location on the map where his RPF is pointing, so we have at least some idea of where the enemy team is going. Where is that Shimakaze? We know where the Montana is, so the other one must be the Shimakaze, and there's the Montana. It's taken a lot of damage already, and you can see there are some further torpedoes going that way. He's also, more or less, turning back to A to try and once again recapture that area. And by doing so, he's presenting himself as a broadside target to our Montana, who puts a salvo in on him, gets quite a bit of damage in, 20,000 hit points off of the Montana there. And this is when I get spotted. There's the Shimakaze, and just as we are about to sink the Shimakaze, we win the game. That was incredibly close. Now, for this particular replay, I don't have any result screen for you, because the result screen is really not that interesting. All teams, or all members of the team, get the same amount of XP. The only difference that you're going to see is either camouflage or flags. So the XP values are really quite similar. But this was such a close game. We really thought we'd already lost. The enemy team had far more points than we did. At that point, Negnatan sank Shimakaze, and the Henri got sunk by Andre very close after. Really close match, and we were all really happy with the result. Anyway, this is World of Warships. I'm probably going to be covering a bit more of this as we do more clan wars, and let me know what your thoughts are down below in the comments. Do you like this? Is this something you want to see more of? Do you play the game? And if so, please consider just adding me to your friends list and see if we can play together. And if not, have a look at the description down below, where you can find a link to join World of Warships. Anyway, thank you for watching, hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you soon for more videos.